Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Pondering today, the 23rd, I think it is, of
Correct.
24.
Correct.
Are you putting the dates right on your things today? The
I
year,
haven't dated anything today. I don't write checks.
Okay. Moving right along, we've got Barb Reedy here today, obviously.
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 It's the comedy hour.
So you don't write anything
I don't write
that
dates.
have dates on it?
You know, you only write dates if you put a signature or you write a check. What else do you put a date on?
Thank you notes? Letters to your parents?
That's true. I've written no thank you notes today.
Did you write thank you notes after your Christmas presents?
Yes, I did actually.
Whoa.
I know. Are you impressed?
Put a date on there?
No, I did not. I don't date things. Do you think people keep that? Like, keep your thank you notes?
I don't know. I keep some of them.
I keep some too. When you have those bad days, you need to go back and look.
They're in my desk, second drawer, right-hand side.
Oh, good. So I can come read them someday.
I stick things in there. And then about every 12, 15, 16 months, I get out one of a box and I dump them all in there. So I must have 5 or 6 boxes of them.
That's
accumulated
amazing.
over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's encouraging.
I call it an I love you drawer.
Oh, that's nice. That is what it is.
So when somebody's kicking you in the teeth, you go up there and close the door, pull out the I love you drawer, put perspective, so
Absolutely.
balance the world out.
Absolutely. Do
But
you have love letters from Becky?
Beck writes a lot of notes.
I bet she does.
Yeah, she does. She's great in writing. She's great in remembering to be kind and thoughtful. That kind of thing.
I can tell that's her nature.
And she also is good about communicating in a way that people can receive it.
And that's important too.
She get on her machine there and talk to the grandchildren, in the language that they work with, and they respond in the same language. And,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's very special.
It is.
All right, you got a pile of stuff there. What is all this about?
I do have a pile of stuff here. This is what I'm reading. Some of what I'm reading right now. I have a lot of books I'm reading or wanting to start to read. These I'm actually reading.
Is there any focus to your reading? Or you just...
Yeah. Work-wise, yes. Obviously, discipleship.
Drawing it out. Come on.
Discipleship.
I'm putting these little seeds out there for you to follow.
I know, I'm a little
Hansel
slow.
and Gretel here.
I'm just starting this called the Liturgical Home Lent because I'm trying to put together things for our families to do through Lent. And I'm not one that needs to reinvent the wheel. A lot of wheels have been invented, so it's just got some really good little devotions, scriptures, activities, so pulling things out of that. Also, if I can plug this for Lent, Lauren Weaver and I are starting a podcast for families. It's called the Family Prayer Podcast. And what we're doing is we're taking the daily office for families and reading through that, and then having like a song or a little story or something that goes with the day. We'll do that 5 days a week. And the purpose of that is parents are in their car a lot with their kids. And so instead of letting the kids sit in the back on their iPads or whatever they do now, I don't even know, turn on a podcast, you can get the daily office, you can go through your daily liturgical readings and scriptures and prayers and talk about it. So that'll come out. Our goal is Ash Wednesday to have that started. And then parents can listen to that through Lent.
Now, where would you find the podcast?
So the goal is to have it on all of your standard podcast. I don't know what those are called, where they house podcasts, like Apple, which would be iTunes, Spotify. What else is there? I don't know.
I couldn't
I'm
help.
still trying to figure all that out. But we got to figure it out quick because it's coming up. But I think that's going to be a really cool thing. It was Lauren's idea because she does that because they travel so far every day. And so we were like, why don't we do a short one for parents that live around here? And we're just trying to get rid of parents' excuses for not doing some type of spiritual training with their children. And you just take away all their excuses.
So what kind of excuses do they give you?
We don't have time. We're never at home. By the time we get into bed, we're exhausted. I mean, you hear it all, right? They don't even sit down at the dinner table anymore together.
So you're going to sneak into it through the machine.
Sneak in through their car. They're in the car together because they got to drop them off at school. They drop them off at soccer or baseball or basketball, right? Mm-hmm. They're in their cars a lot. So I thought maybe this is a way.
Might be.
Maybe.
Worth a shot.
It is worth a shot. So yeah.
Would it be something that I'd be interested in?
Sure. It's for families. Now, it's the daily office, as you know what that is, right? Mm-hmm. But the daily office has, I don't know, they've made it a little less for families, and especially for younger children, because a child's not going to listen to the daily office and get much out of it. So they've made it so that it's applicable to children. So that's the one we'll be reading.
Well, when you get it up and rolling, come and show me how to do it.
I will do that. I will show you where to listen to it and how. It's also going to be on our website, I think.
Do you have to have the things that go in your ears to hear it?
Mm-mm.
Because
Nope.
I see a lot of the children with things in their
All
ears.
the
Some
time.
of them have wires and some of them don't.
Some of them don't. It's my Connor. All the time. I don't know if he's hearing me or, you have to get their attention. Connor, he's got those in his ears, and I'm talking, and then I realize he hasn't heard a word I said. So then I'm like, Connor, and he's go, huh? What's up? That's his thing. What's up?
What's up?
Well. But anyway.
All right, so what else is happening?
So, I am super excited for what's coming. I think we have a great year ahead of us. So we're starting what we call a discipleship path, a discipleship journey. Anybody can hop on the path wherever they feel is appropriate for them. But we are starting in a couple of weeks, February 21st, to be exact, at the Parish Hall. So we're starting Alpha.
That's the Wednesday.
It is a Wednesday after Ash Wednesday, that's correct. So Alpha, join the conversation. So Alpha is a 10-week series where you just get to come and ask questions. There'll be a little bit of fellowship time. There'll be a short video that's going to present a question like, who is God? Basic. But who is God? We all ask that question. And there'll be that short discussion from the video, and then you sit at a table. You'll be at the same table every week because you're going to get to know those people and bring those questions. This is who I always thought God was. Is that right? Or I have no idea who God is. How do I know?
Now, who put all this together?
So this, Alpha's been around since the 70s, and by a priest named Nicky Gumbel, Anglican, actually, out of London, Brompton Parish, right?
Holy Trinity.
Holy Trinity, Brompton. And that's in London?
Yes.
Okay. So so it is international now. Alpha is huge. The U.S. has its own organization now with its own executive director or whatever. And I don't even think Nicky's much of a part of it anymore. It's just the founder.
And very much a part of founding that and putting together was his wife, Pippa.
Pippa.
And they were on the videos together and all that. It was really interesting. One time Becky and I were in England for a period of time before we were going to Ireland to do some work over there, and went to Holy Trinity Brompton to his church. He was the rector there, and went there to hear him speak. And it's amazing. It's an old church, Anglican church in downtown London. And they had taken all the pews out. The big stone altar was still there, but it was all covered with a sheet. The pulpit was covered with a sheet. That was over on this side. Huge screen. Had built a stage out in the middle, and people were seated all around, taking everything out of the balconies, and they had carpeted the risers up there, and people were sitting on the floor in the balconies there.
Wow.
And that place was packed.
Packed. Is he still the rector there?
No, I don't know. But anyway, he didn't speak. He had Francis Chan there, and Francis Chan spoke. And it was really amazing, but it was how I was struck by this. Now, this is a long time ago. By how they had taken that very historical, formal place and just stripped it down to nothing but folding chairs and people sit on the floor. And it was reaching all kinds of people.
All kinds of people.
But it was a whole different population than who would have ever started that church.
Absolutely.
Very few older people there, very few.
Interesting.
But that didn't seem to bother anybody.
Yeah.
It wasn't for them.
Right.
And they had very little music. They had music, a band kind of thing, but the music was not the big thing. It was about the message.
That's awesome. So yeah, February 21st, there should be a QR code on the screen, or you can go to the churchofthecross.net, go under events, and register there.
And when do these cards go out?
The cards are going out now. We started passing them out Sunday. Father Nathan gave a great message where he promoted this. He promoted our discipleship. He promoted our next step, which is Rooted, that I'll tell you about here in a second. So they started going out. So any Sunday, if you leave, they'll be at your Connect desk. Now,
this is going to be for men?
Yep, men, women, any age.
All right, then what about if you have children, is there nursery and stuff
there
like
is.
that?
There'll be child care. That's why we need you to register, especially if you need, we need everyone to register. But if you need child care, you need to let us know so that we have the appropriate amount of people to help do that.
And it's Wednesday nights, what time?
Wednesday nights is going to start at 6:15. Fellowship time will be out by 8.
Historic campus.
Historic campus in the parish hall.
Wonderful.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be
So
great.
this is the first step.
So this is the first step. Kind of get your questions answered about who is God, who is this Jesus, how do I get to know him kind of thing. Then we go into Rooted. So Rooted is a deeper conversation. Again, it's done in tables, in groups, people you get to know. Why? Because if you switched up people every week, you have to re-get to know them, right? And as you're with people week after week, you get comfortable in the sharing.
Well, so it's the idea that your group is together and Alpha stays together and does this?
That would be ideal, yes. If you went from Alpha to Rooted, because there's only going to be 3 weeks between the church-wide launch of Rooted from the end of Alpha. So the church-wide launch of Rooted is going to be our Summer Wednesday series. At Cross Schools in the gym, the youth will be doing something at the same time, and there will be a children's program there as well. More on that to come. And then ultimately, these will just go into life groups in someone's home. That's the ultimate goal. Rooted dives into 7 rhythms of discipleship, like daily devotions, prayer, kind of the spiritual disciplines. But gets more into repentance. What else? Worship. Why church? The importance of church. Those kinds of things. It's a deep dive into what it means to be a disciple.
Now, is Alpha going to be repeated?
Yes.
And will Rooted be repeated?
And Rooted will be repeated. The goal is for a while to offer them twice a year until we get a good enough amount of groups going outside of the church building that maybe it'll go down to once a year for a while.
Well, what about the Alpha? What if someone is a mature Christian?
So mature Christians can still come and participate in Alpha, because part of the Alpha program at the table, as always, if you've got a bunch of people, say you have 6, 7 people sitting at a table and no leader, who talks, who knows how. So you're going to have a table facilitator that's going to help spur on that conversation. So I already have 3 that have been through Alpha, and they called and they said, I'm in. I love Alpha, and so they'll be helping do table facilitating. So if you feel like you're that step beyond Alpha, which many of our people are, you can still be a part and be a help. And that's where we get into, once we get through Rooted and life groups in the fall, I don't think I'm going to announce it yet. There's something coming in the fall that's going to put it all together. But being a table host in Alpha is kind of the beginning of that. That's just my little make you want to come back for more statement. What do you think?
I'm thinking you're not sure what the next.
No, I know exactly what it is, Padre.
Here.
I know exactly what it is.
Okay.
It's going to be great.
But
I'm
the big
super
thing I was after
excited.
that last question on Alpha was, does it have an application across the congregation?
Yes.
Regardless of where you are. in your walk?
Regardless. Because well, first of all, how many of us know the answers to all the questions? I don't think any of us do. We'll never have the answers to all the questions. So there's always questions we can ask. But if you've been walking with Jesus for a while and you have a lot of the answers, then you can help. You can help bring those around.
One of the things I found is that a lot of people who think they have the answers, they have an answer, but it's not the answer.
Not the answer. That's good.
It's the one that they've come up with that suits them, that they get their hands around, but they've never challenged themselves to consider the possibility that there might be more.
That's right.
Or different. And we tend to grab a hold to a faith that was really somebody else's faith, and we heard them talk about it, and so we just adopted that. We've never explored it for ourselves.
So
we
true.
never dug in.
Never dug in.
And never asked the questions.
That's
because
right.
we felt comfortable with what we had.
That's right.
Never really wanted to be challenged about it. So this is, I think, a real application for people wherever they are.
Wherever they are in their walk. Absolutely.
And I think it's just so true that sometimes people think they know where they are, but they're as lost as a doodle. You know?
That's true, too. We have a lot of people, all churches have a lot of people that have sat in the pews for years, but still don't really understand, right? Nathan preached Sunday about how we get a lot of head knowledge in what we do, but if we don't take that head knowledge and transform it to the heart, then we've kind of lost it.
Yep.
And that's what these things are designed to help us do, to start moving all that information from our head to our heart. So when we do come on Sunday and we hear a word from you that is challenging, we accept it as a challenge. We don't wait for you to give us the next step. That's not your job, right? Your job is to challenge us so that we go out there and figure it out and do the challenge.
So are you sufficiently challenged?
Every Sunday.
Do you have enough to keep yourself busy? Are you going
That's
deep
funny.
within yourself? Are you asking yourself the hard questions here?
Every day, Padre. Every day.
Every day.
Every day. Do you know what?
There's no
In
telling
all
what.
honesty, being here has been the most challenging 3 years, or 2 years, I guess, really. The first year wasn't, because I wasn't really in it. I was just in the school. But these last 2 years have challenged me a lot. And just what you were saying, like I accepted doctrine and theology that were really man-made, instead of really challenging that doctrine and theology with what God's Word says. And being in the office last year with the boys, you know, I call them the boys, Dave, David, Nathan, challenged me to think deeper and see things different. So it's been good. It's been really good.
So I'm not one of the boys.
Sure.
That was the wrong answer.
You challenged me, though. You absolutely challenged me.
Whoa. So how is it with the grandson there now? Because that's
Great.
I think that's a ministry that a number of our families are in,
I think so.
where we've got grandparents that are helping shepherd a grandson or a granddaughter along for one season or another.
Right. It's been transformational way faster than we thought it would happen. And that's a testament to
Are you being transformed or
schools.
he's being
Well,
transformed?
probably both of us.
Because he would have a whole different set of questions. He'd have a
Yeah, he
whole
would.
different
Absolutely.
mindset, whole different outlook on everything.
Whole
than
different.
your husband would.
That's right. Absolutely different. They think differently. They see things differently. Gosh, he got that VR headset for Christmas. Have you ever done one of those?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
So it's like this thing you put on your face, and then you become part of it.
Like a swim goggles?
Oh, they're big, though. They're big, and they're electronic, and the screen is in there. And so, like, he has me do this game where you have to swipe things to the rhythm of a song. And so you've got these things you hand, and you're doing this. You look ridiculous on the outside because you don't know what you're doing. But on the inside, you're literally doing it. It's weird. That's his thing now.
You know, when I was a child, I had a viewfinder that was kind of like that.
It's similar. It is similar to a viewfinder. Yes, I had one too.
You're in the Grand Canyon or whatever.
That's right. You know, that's probably where the idea came from. Honestly, it's an updated viewfinder.
There you go.
I love it.
You know, they had I think it was a circle.
It was a circle.
You bought the circle, so whatever you want to be.
You know, I
at.
saw one in an antique store not too long ago.
Thank you for that.
I had them too. I had them too. You realize how old you are when your childhood toys are in antique stores, selling for a lot of money. But it's okay. It's okay.
So what is your grandson learning from that? I mean, what are you supposed to get from it? I mean, is it just an entertainment?
It's entertainment,
kind of thing?
pretty much. Yeah. I'm going to believe that someday we're going to have really amazing surgeons come out of this, because they have to be able, because surgery anymore is that, right? A lot of surgeries is controlled. They're not cutting and going in, right? They're putting things in there that they're controlling from a computer. And so they've got to have this precision. So maybe, I don't think that's Connor. He's not going to be a surgeon. But anyway, it's just pure entertainment. But I can tell you what, it's a carrot. And I have had zero problems with that boy getting his homework done since Christmas.
All because of the viewfinder?
That's right, the electronic viewfinder. He gets his homework done, he gets an hour on it. So, you know, the carrot.
So I'm reading now. Are you reading? Are you reading anything for fun?
I am reading something for fun, but I didn't bring it. You really want to know what it is?
Perhaps not.
No, it's fine. It is. It's just a secular fun book. You're familiar with David Copperfield, like the classic. Yeah. So this lady took David Copperfield and she rewrote it.
Do you know?
Probably not.
What is the number one selling piece of literature book of all time?
The Bible.
No.
No.
Bible's not a piece of literature.
Oh, well, that's true. I do not know.
Tale of Two Cities.
Really? I would not have guessed that.
That came to my mind because you said David Copperfield.
David Copperfield, kind of that same classic. So yeah, this lady rewrote it for modern time, and it's called Demon.
Do you know what the number 2 is?
No.
Don Quixote.
In written form? Like, I wouldn't even know.
By Cervantes.
Never read it.
Okay.
Although I played in the orchestra for Man of La Mancha once, which is the musical of Don Quixote.
Saw it on Broadway.
You saw it on Broadway, or Man of La Mancha?
It's
great music.
1970, New York. It was on a rake, what they called a rake stage. The stage was blank. I mean, there was nothing on the stage.
Oh.
It was all in your imagination and everything. The performers wore costumes, but minimal costumes. And you remember toward the end, the last scenes in the movie or the book, even he's dying, he's in his bed. Well, the bed's it's a huge bed, and it's sitting like at a 45-degree angle, so you can see him and the interaction with the characters all around him and everything.
That's kind of cool.
It was very
I actually
cool.
like that.
Very cool. Very cool.
I'll have to tell you about the time I was in a musical once.
Pretty short story, I bet.
I was the star.
Whoa! The star.
I was the star.
I would have expected nothing less.
All right, I'm going to share 2 more things real quick.
Please.
Can I do that?
Yes, please.
Because I want to share what I'm doing with teachers over there. Because that's part of what I do too. Helping
there
disciple
being cross
teachers at
schools?
cross schools across the parking lot.
A lot of people over there, a lot of teachers.
Lot of teachers over there. I think it's 100.
Yeah, it's 100.
It's over 100.
Yeah.
Like 125, 26.
Yep.
It's a lot of teachers. And so we're offering Bible studies throughout the week that many are going to. Last summer we did a summer reading that most of the teachers participated in. It was Timothy Keller's Jesus the King. Excellent book. If you've not read it, it's just
Gospel of Mark.
the Gospel of Mark. And it talk about making you think. It really makes you think. So this summer, we're going to do How to Follow Jesus by Craig Springer.
Not familiar with him.
And so, interesting, he's Anglican. He used to be a priest. Well, he's still a priest. I just don't think I don't know what he does now. Anyway, I do know what he does. He's not anymore. You know what he used to be? I didn't even, sorry. That was woo, that was Barb's brain right there. So
there you
sorry.
Go. No more viewfinder for you.
No more viewfinder. He used to be the executive director for Alpha USA.
Whoa.
Right? And I didn't even know that after I picked this book. A friend of mine gave me this book, actually, and I started doing a little bit of research on him, and I was like, look at that. But I don't think he is anymore. I think he's since been replaced. But this is just a really, talk about discipleship as we're going into discipling teachers and helping teachers understand what discipleship is, because they're discipling students every day. They have a lot of influence on their students, so we really want them to understand what does it mean to be a disciple. And so that's what this book is, just basic.
So that's a teacher study for this summer.
The teacher study for this summer, yep. So I'm real excited about that.
Are there some things you're not excited about? You use that word a lot.
I do. Honestly, right now, no, there is not.
Good.
Life is good right now. And you know what I realize? When life is good, you live in it, right?
What?
Well, when life's not good, you still live in it. Here's the deal. I find joy in everything. I just made that decision a long time ago.
I think that's a good thing.
I do too. But just sometimes I miss my reality. But I've been through therapy for that, so I'm okay.
You know, there are some roads you just don't want to go down.
That is so true. I find joy in
I'm just
everything.
going to pretend like I did not hear that.
All you heard was, I find joy in all the things. Mm-hmm. And lastly is this, our daily bread. Mm-hmm. So our teachers, Joe Almeida, who's our head of schools, suggested that we do something that teachers are doing, a daily devotional, the same daily devotional. And his vision of this was beautiful, that teachers are walking up and down the hall and saying, did you read that devotion today? Boy, that really spoke to me, right? So it puts them on that level spiritually. So I was looking at different things, and so our daily bread has this one for February called Forever Faithful, 29 Reflection on God's Compassion in Black History. So it's a devotional to walk you through Black History Month. And so each devotional is, I think each one is written by a Black person, and each one has something to do with trials and historical, what's the word I'm trying to say? I guess it's just trials that they might have gone through, and their culture and their spiritual culture, to help give us all that understanding, because it is a different culture, but it's a culture we live with every day that I think is super important that we understand. And so I'm gifting this to teachers, and they can read it to their kids. Probably 4th grade and up. It's a little above the littles, but they can do daily devotions through Black History Month next month. So I'm excited about it.
Good for you. Give you 10 minutes on the viewfinder this evening.
Ooh. You know what my favorite song is on this?
Do they have things you change?
Yes.
So you can pick at what you're looking at?
Yes.
You get to choose
You
that?
get to choose, right. Connor plays with other people. I don't understand that. Like, they can see each other. But my favorite song, when you have to do this, it's kind of like, I know you don't know Fruit Ninja, that game. Fruit Ninja, you got to swipe the fruit before it gets past you. You got to cut it in half. It's an eye-hand coordination thing. Look it up, Fruit Ninja. It's kind of like Fruit Ninja, but for music.
Where would you even begin to look that up?
You have an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
It's in the App Store. Fruit Ninja.
In the App Store.
But my favorite song is
So if you have an
Bohemian
iPhone,
Rhapsody.
you have an App Store, if you have the iPhone?
Yes. Yes. You can get all kinds of stuff on the App Store. Can I tell you a funny story real quick?
Do I have
When
a
my
cho-
mom
do I
was
have a
alive?
choice?
Nope. Always have a choice.
Okay.
You know, if you
We've
said no.
sliced the bananas and the oranges. What's next?
Bananas and oranges.
What's next?
So, it's just funny when you said the App Store. When my mom was alive and her health was failing, so we moved her down here. And but before that, she lived in Missouri. That's where I grew up. And I was down here, and she would call me because she was having trouble with her iPad. And she goes, I don't know what to do. She goes, I went to the App Store. And I'm like, Mom, why'd you go to the App Store? Well, isn't that where you go to get help? She was going to Best Buy. She called it.
A woman after my own heart.
She
There
called
you go.
it the App Store. I'm like, Mom, that is not the App Store. Sorry. She was special.
Not with us any longer, I take it.
She is
It was
not.
used
She
in the past tense
passed
there.
away 6 years ago. She did.
But her humor stuck with you.
Her humor has definitely stuck with me. My mom was funny, didn't know she was funny. You know, I embrace my weirdness and funniness,
Obviously.
obviously.
Obviously. Yeah. So you're dressed for a fashion show today? What's happening?
I don't think so, am I?
I mean, I would think
We're
that would
kind
be
of-
rather an eclectic
Is it?
outfit today.
I don't
you
know. I
think?
came out today and my husband said, you look adorable. So,
Well, there you go.
and look, we're matching with our burgundies. These are my
That's the
favorite
color.
pants because they're really comfortable.
Okay. Any other wisdom that that you would like to leave with us here?
I don't know. I don't know what it would be.
I can't imagine. I'm scared to ask, really. I'm going to leave that one alone, too. Food bank, do you know we have a food bank?
We do have a food bank.
Yeah.
Do you know the food bank? The food bank volunteers are now a discipleship group. They are
No.
growing
Now,
together.
what does that, how do you mean?
So they actually went through Rooted together, and now they're still meeting, and they're just in the Word and helping each other through their lives.
Who leads that?
Well, it was Craig Pelly, but it ended up being 6 women. So I'm really, really excited because Craig's wife, Heather, took it over,
Wow.
which is really exciting. I was so, thankful and proud of her
Any
for
of the
stepping in and doing
God's
that.
gifts people involved in that?
God's gifts people, they've been doing their
Because
own thing.
they work with the food bank.
They do. And they've been doing their own, some of them have their own Bible studies and lunch groups and stuff. They've been doing that for years, which is awesome. That's the really cool thing now is these serving groups are starting to, I think James is starting to pull together all the what's that he leads? The word security. That's the word. The security team, and start doing some discipleship and.
So when you're talking about these different tracks, it's not, we're moving away from this model of men's ministry and women's ministry, and we're moving into a discipleship ministry that's not sex specific.
Correct.
That's the idea of it.
That's right. And some are. Rebecca and I call it bifurcated. We have these bifurcated silos. We've got great women's studies, whatnot, great men's studies. We didn't have much for couples and families. And so we're trying to bring that together. There will still be women's studies and there will still be men's studies, but there's going to be a good amount of couple studies because we're finding a lot of couples want to do it together, and they should be doing it together.
But now Alpha isn't just for couples, right?
Nope, it's for anyone. So you can be single, married,
Any age.
any age. Any age. I would say youth and up. I wouldn't go younger than youth, but youth could absolutely participate in this with
Well,
their
there used to be a
families.
youth Alpha.
There still is.
Still.
There still is. There's a youth Rooted too that I'm talking with Becca about doing in the summer. While the adults do Rooted, the youth would also be doing their version of Rooted. And eventually we'll probably bring in Youth Alpha because I think it's really important.
Speaking of bifurcating, there's this game out there, and these things, fruit comes. That's what you're.
I wanna know if you're gonna go look up
fruit.
Fruit Ninja.
Fruit ninja. That's what you're doing.
You just swipe and slice the fruit in half, but it starts coming at you faster and more fruit. So you got to go really fast. Because if the fruit gets past, then eventually you're just going to...
Did you ever see Shogun? Mm-mm. It was a miniseries. Speaking of bifurcating and all that, they had a big sword to cut people's heads off.
Oh.
Bifurcating.
Ooh.
Fruit ninja.
Fruit ninja. That's a little...
That's another story.
That is like crossing the line, fruit ninja.
Yeah, serious.
Serious.
All right, any questions you got for me?
Why do I never have a question for you? I've literally been thinking about this. Like, I would love to have a question that just...
But you don't have one.
But I don't.
So, okay.
I don't. It's
Is
terrible.
there any parting word you'd like to give to the people today?
Sign up for Alpha.
It's a big one.
Yeah,
All right,
it's a big one.
People are signing up now.
They are.
But it doesn't start until the Wednesday after
Wednesday.
Ash Wednesday.
After Ash Wednesday.
February
That's right.
21st.
That's right.
So you've got a couple of weeks, 3 weeks to sign up.
Is that
4
it?
weeks.
3,
Yep.
4 weeks, yep.
Yep.
Yep, and I mean...
Can you sign up online?
Yep, sign up online.
Is there any cost to do Alpha?
There is no cost to Alpha. There is none, and there will even be food.
But you
At
want,
no cost.
but what you really want, but you want people to commit, not just drop in
Yes.
and out. You want them to plan to be in it from the start.
You need to be in it for 10 weeks. Now, there are people that have come to me that say, I have to miss a week. That's okay. Like, we have things, right? I don't want you to not come because you have to miss a week. But if you're only going to be there for 5 of them, you might want to wait for the next round.
Yep. And there will be another one.
There will be.
Okay.
Yep.
All righty. So I think we've sufficiently overloaded people with information or confused them to the point that they just
one or the other
has gone. If you have hung on to this conversation today, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. All right, y'all see what I'm working with today. Say your prayers. Say your prayers.
I warned you, Padre.
Say your prayers. A lot going on. Be faithful in your prayers. Be faithful in worship. Be faithful in Bible study. Be faithful in serving somebody else in the Lord's name. It's not about you, friends. It's
Amen.
about Him and all the folks who don't know Him. Know that God loves you. We love you too. Blessings.